Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to discuss 3 pandas methods you're probably less familiar with if you've heard of them at all. The first method is the two-frame method, the second method is the explode method, and the third method is the cumulative sum method. And the goal of this is to help you replace some of your multi-step cleaning processes with some of these single-step methods that do a lot more for you with less lines of code. So let me show you. I've got a sample data series here that looks like this. And so in each row, I've got a list of values. You could tell this is a data series because I have this name attribute here. And what I want to do first is convert this data series to a data frame. Now, when I've done this in the past, I usually use this reset index approach where I now have a data frame. You can tell because you have these column headers. And then I would add a drop method on here. So I would drop columns equals index, and then I might also add a rename to rename this column, for instance. So let's just rename columns equals, and it takes in a dictionary. And we're going to say fix this. Let's replace this with we just call it column A. And so in this 3-step method, this is very Pythonic. This would be considered okay. We can see that we have our reset, our drop, and our rename, and we get this data frame that looks pretty good. Now, there is a simple way to do this with a single method. If we use the two-frame method, we can create a data frame, and then all we have to do is pass in whatever new column header we want this to have, and in a single step, we've recreated this data frame here without all the chained methods. And so if you were unaware of this two-frame method, this is probably what you were doing. But now that you see, there is a very easy single method approach. Now, next, let's deal with the fact that we have a list in each of these rows. This is not uncommon if you're cleaning data and you don't have good control over the input data. So you've got to address this, or you just want to unpack these to sort of tell more of a data story. The approach I will use to clean this data structure up more is the pandas explode method. The explode method will go into each of these list values and split them across their own rows. And so what this looks like is this. The first thing, let's create a new data frame, just to make it easier to work with. And you see we start our data frame here. If we look at column A and use the explode method, you see that now that list, which was 1, 2, and 3, is now split over 3 different rows, each of which share the same row index. So 0, 0, 0. The next list of 3 values shares this common index value of 1, and the same for the third set. And so this is great because now we can plot this data, we can structure this differently using the pivot or some other structuring methods. Or we could do some different calculations. And so let's use this to get into our last method, which is the cumulative sum method. And so from this here, let's keep this view. So from this here, we can chain a new method to this called the cumulative sum method. And the way this particular method works is that it takes the first value plus 0, so it sort of keeps the first value there. It will be 1. And then for the second value, we'll add 1 plus the value of the second value and then replace that value. And so we would go from 1 plus 2 equals 3. And so now this 2 equals 3. For this value, we'll take 3 plus 3, which equals 6, and replace that 3 with a 6, and so on and so forth for the entire data series. And so I will keep both series on the screen, and you can see that how this is working. So this is a great way if you want to start computing some rolling statistics or cumulative variables. We can look deeper into this, and there are more cumulative values. So we can look at the cumulative max, the cumulative min, the cumulative product as well. So if we look at the cumulative min, it's a little bit less interesting because the first value is the minimum value. And so if there was anything lower, it would replace that. If you go to the other extreme and look at the cumulative max value over this, it replaces the first value with the next highest value, which is 2. And because this list is incrementally increasing over the entire data series, it's always been replaced with the next value. So this is a great way to summarize these data or create new variables from which to build models from or deliver new insights. If there's other Pandas methods you want me to discuss, or you want to continue to be informed about new Pandas methods you might be less familiar with, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.